There we go. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see all of you. And this is our Styling Arrangements Made Easy class. And I see we have a good number coming up here today. That's great. I hope you have had a good week. And I would like to start with talking about top of the world to see what you were able to do or not do, or maybe you did something differently, because that's kind of the way we learn is from each other. So anybody want to share information with us? That would be great.
I tested out all the glide settings. I found one called Steel Guitar, so that's the one I used.
Uh-huh. Very good. Questions or comments? There was a lot to that arrangement, actually, because I gave you the intro and ending, and I gave you an interlude to play. So there was a lot going on there.
Actually, the intro and endings on the aria are very similar to the ones you gave us. I guess
Yes,
Bill Curry copied it.
because that was right, original.
Right.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, actually. It was kind of fun. I thought I would get a lot more questions during the week's time, but I didn't. I didn't get questions. Ooh, wow. There we go. So, any questions with it at this point in time? I don't know if you've finished it or if you have any questions you want to talk about before we hear it. Anybody?
When you were having things saved to the banks,
Mm-hmm.
like I had Orc Plus off when I saved the first one because I don't like all that racket. But then you have to remember also to turn it off when you're getting ready to save the second time, because otherwise it's back on. And
Right.
and the same with the speed, the tempo. If you don't lock the tempo, it's going back to what the original tempo was each time. So you have to remember to lock that, correct? I had a lot of issues with all of that stuff.
With the memorizing part?
Right. Well, not how to memorize. I
Right.
that piece, but to make sure that what you really want to be memorizing is there, because I'm not sure I know how to see what all is there except they're on. But like the harmonies, okay, the harmony light's on, but is it on the harmony you want or not? Then when you go back in there to look at that, then you've lost it all and you have to like start over.
You
So
have to check it again, right?
yeah,
As far
so
Orc Plus goes, if you lock the accompaniment, it will stay off.
okay, so just do a company lock in the beginning and then that would have solved that. Yes. Okay.
That will keep it off the whole time, yes.
Right. Okay.
Good question. Anything else?
Yeah, the super glide. I wish you would like just show us how to do that or tell us or whatever one more time, because I mean, I know how to set it and all of that, but I really struggled with getting my either me or the to do it.
Getting your what?
Getting either me or the organ, I'm not sure, it was probably me, to actually do the super glide. I mean, I understand how to set it.
Okay, so you understand how to set it. So now you
Yeah,
have it on Super Glide. So
correct.
when you press your key at the same time, wherever you've assigned, where did you assign your Super Glide to?
Okay, so like I wanted it to glide from say E to F. I don't exactly remember at this minute, but let's say I wanted to go from E to the higher F, not next door F, higher F.
Uh huh.
So how do you
Well,
do?
Super Glide does an octave.
It already does an octave.
It glides the whole. It glides an octave. So
So
that's
when you,
already taken care of if you're using Super Glide. My question is, where did you assign the glide to? Are you using the foot switch? Are you using pedals?
oh, the pedal.
You put it on your pedal.
Yeah,
Okay, so your pedal goes down at the same time the note you press, and then
okay,
you let go of the pedal and
yeah,
keep the note pressed down, and the super glide will begin and go up.
okay. So I was doing that backwards and I wrote it down backwards. Okay, that explained it. Thank you.
Good, you're welcome. Anything else?
Yes, question, Johnny.
Yes.
Is the store back at full capacity, or do you still have to make reservations to come in for a class?
Still have to make reservations.
So are you limited then to the number of people?
Yes.
Okay,
I mean, you don't have to make reservations for each one. You just have to have signed up for whatever class you want to go to, and then it's assumed you're going to continue to go to that class. And then I just watch the count.
okay.
And I think we're going to be going up to 15 real shortly here. We're at 13 right now. So, and most of them are not quite at 13. We still have openings.
We should all be vaccinated by now.
Yep, well, the whole thing about the numbers and the masks is a county. It's different in every county. In Sarasota, they've taken the mandate off, even though most people are still respecting that. The mandate is not on, so business cannot require. In this particular county where the store is, we are required. So, did anyone record Top of the World that we can hear?
Yep, Joni, I did.
Okay, Gary.
One thing I just wanted to comment on was with, I think someone last week asked about the button on the Aria or on the marquee called Key Glide.
Yes.
If you change any of those glide settings to super glide or any of them, you can then enable the glide by just turning on the key glide tab button. And when you hold down the key, the glide will happen. So you
That's
actually
correct.
you can use the key, or you can use the foot switch, or you can use the pedals or whatever. You have
That's
a little
correct.
one extra option.
And somebody, and I can't remember who it was, the same day called me and said, yes, it will go on the key glide.
Yeah.
I had no way of checking that last week, but somebody did call right away and say, yeah, you can use it on the key glide. So that's great.
Okay. Here we go.
Great. Good job. Very good.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, repeat that. So, Gary, the second time around,
Yes.
you had some kind of a bell sound in your
Ye-
setting.
yes.
What was it?
It was bells and let me see. It was called synthesizer bell.
Where did you find that?
It was in the either in the vintage or in, I can't remember. Let's see.
So it was a style setup.
Oh yeah, it was in the normal category for that style.
Okay, that was good sound.
Yeah.
Because that little touch of a bell on the top
Mhm.
kept you being very able to hear the melody real clearly. Very good.
Right.
Very,
Cute.
very good job. Who else? I think the hardest part of this was turning the pages.
That's where the electronic sheet music was a blessing.
Yes, you're right. I still have to get a help session with you about that.
The cookie
Yeah.
don't work in here.
Pardon?
The mics are open.
Yep.
Joanie,
I'm getting to it. Hang on, you're going to have to unmute yourself again after I get this muted. There you go. Whoever was going to ask a question, go ahead.
no, this is Levon. I was going to tell you I have it recorded.
Great, Levon. You can go ahead. Good job. Very
Thank you.
nice, Levon.
Thank you.
Very good. So hopefully, if you are doing what we're really talking about in this class, then you are becoming more agile at um, making your setups or presets, as we call them. And that, I was just speaking with Carl yesterday, and so once you do it, it's done. You never have to do it again. You don't have to push any buttons. It makes it so very, very easy for you. Um, and it's not hard to learn, but boy, it's so nice to I set up everything one time and that's it, and I save it, and I'm done. So when I go back to revisit an arrangement I'm forming, for instance, for the next week, my setups are already there, done. So every time I have them, so it's a really good habit to get into. And once you do it, as even Carl told me yesterday, once you've done it, it's easy. It's just a matter of pushing a memorize button, a bank, and a number, and then turn the memorize button off, and you're good to go. So if you need some help with that, you certainly can give me a ring, or we can Zoom, and I can walk you through it, because once you've done it a few times, it's no different than if you're sitting there trying to push buttons and find, for instance, a sound you're looking for, something like that. Once you've got it, you've got it, which is really great. And I think we said that the steel guitar was 122. Is that correct?
Yes.
122, and we put it in 5 different places, and that was to boost the strength of the steel guitar, and it worked out really, really well, as you heard. Levon, what rhythm did you use?
I used Top of the World in the aria.
Oh, you did. It just sounded
Yeah.
different to me. I wasn't sure if that was Top of the World or not. I could tell by the ending it was, but in the middle I was hearing something different, and I wasn't sure why.
Well, in the middle, what you heard was for the interlude is I put the first ending on and let that play and then shut it off before the ending stopped and used it as my interlude.
Oh, how clever. Now there's an idea for everyone if you didn't want to have to learn to play the interlude I wrote. She used the intro or ending, but stopped it before it finished. That's brilliant, Levon. Very good.
Thank you.
Very, very good. Excellent. All right. Anybody else? No? Okay. Any other questions before we go on? Nothing? Okay. We're going to go on to Love Will Keep Us Together here. And I have a couple of interesting things for you. All the presets that I made come from the rhythm or style setups, rhythm preset or style setups. And all I did was take which ones I wanted and then memorize them, so I'd have them right in a row, and I wouldn't have to push a lot of buttons. So that's how I did it. The most obvious rhythm for this song is Love Will Keep Us. That's the signature style for this. But let's start with the easy line first. If you're on an easy product, You can use rock guitarist. You'll need the tempo to be around 130, and you want to be sure your drums are up. That's for the easy. And the sound that you can use is in the more section. It's more, and then you scroll to extra dash new age, and it's a pretty cool sound. On the EY, also works the same way, and then we're going to add duet to it when we get in the middle of it, and then we're going to go to the extra again and just touch one scroll, and you'll get to solo saw. I don't know where they came up with some of these names, but I'm just saying. I go for the sound and not the name. So that's for the easy and EY. If you have love will keep us, that's obviously what we want to do. Now, the first thing you want to do is transpose your instrument to the key of E. So move your transposer to E, up to E. And the purpose of that is if you do want to play along with the captain and Tennille, that's the key your instrument has to be in order for you to match them. Okay?
So we're playing in the key of B.
Well, we're playing in the key of G, but the instrument is going to sound in the key of E.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah. B.
Yes. And eventually that's going to change because at one point toward the end, then we are going to modulate and transpose to up to F because they do modulate in the song as well. Okay? So after the intro is finished playing, I'm doing, and I'll try to say this slowly because it's not complicated. I'm going to play 8 beats, so that's 2 measures of a G chord, and do the virtuoso while it's going. 2 measures, 8 beats. And then I'm going to do 8 beats and play the F chord while I'm playing the virtuoso. Okay? And then one more set, go back to the G chord, because that's the chord we're going to be starting the song on, and do it one more time, the virtuoso. I just did the virtuoso going up. I didn't come back down. And so I do 8 more beats of the G chord, or at the end you could do 4 if you want, and then just come in with the song. So that's basically how that works. Okay. I want to make some not too many chords, but a couple of chords. And I'm going to change some notes because what's written on my Hal Leonard copy anyway, the notes that are written, are not always what they were singing. So I kind of notated that and fixed that as well. So on measure 3, which the words are together, on that D note, which is measure 3, beat 1, I'm going to play an F chord. Add an F chord there. Okay. On line 3, which the lyrics are "Guy comes along," instead of playing the C chord, I'm going to play an A minor, which in the previous chats we've had, we talked about the relative minor of a chord, and A minor is the relative minor to C. So on that measure, until we get down to the last line, which is a C minor, we're going to stay on A minor for that line. Also, Hal Leonard marks on line 3 a B flat, and I crossed out the flat. I do not hear a B flat in my ear anyway. And the notes that they sang a B and a G as eighth notes, which is what's written there. And then instead of going down to an E, when they sang it, they went up to an A. So I played an A instead of an E quarter note there on beat 2. And then it goes to G, which is fine.
Are you talking about the first measure in line 3?
Yes,
Instead of an E, it was what?
an A.
An A. Okay, thank you.
The second space there on the staff. Now on measure 2 of line 3, again, I crossed out the flat. You could try it both ways if you want, but I didn't want the flat. And then it went from a B flat, so now I'm going to play a B, and then it went to an A, but really what they sang was a G. So the second eighth note I played is a G. And then on the G quarter note, which is beat 2, I played an A because I was following my ear and what they were singing. And that's it for that page. On the second page, on the top line, when you play the G chord, start the fill and keep the fill on the whole line because it goes, that's what goes with it. And then when you get to the second line, you'll take the fill off. So on line 1, measure 2, the chord you want is a G augmented, which is indicated G with a plus sign next to it. And that's G, B, and D sharp. And remember, with augmented chords, you have to play them in root position. That's the only way the instrument can read it. So you can't put it in any other position other than to play that G, B, and D flat. Okay? Everybody with me?
Did you say D flat or D sharp?
I didn't say D anything. G as in George.
G, B, and then D sharp?
Oh, G, B is in boy, and then D is in dog sharp.
Yeah.
Okay, you said flat.
Yeah, it's a flat.
Did I? That must have been the other Joanie. Okay, let's go to measure 3. And measure 3, I'm going to play an E minor. E as in Edward, minor. Now, this is another case on line 2 of listening to it, and I listened several times, and how Leonard made the first note an F note, but they sang an E note. So I play an E, not an F. And every time I played the F in the beginning the way it was written, something made me squint. Like I just knew it wasn't supposed to be an F. So I play an E instead.
Joanie?
Okay? Yes.
Oh, yeah, this is Jan.
Hi, Jan.
You're talking about the F on the very first note of the second line,
Correct.
and you said you put an E instead of an F?
Yes.
Okay, and the E minor chord is the first note of the third measure of the first line, or does it
Correct.
come in? Okay,
Correct.
okay, thank you.
And when you finish the first line, you let go of the fill. Okay, so on line 2, measure 2, beat 3, which is a C note, and I believe the lyric is heart. There I played a B as in boy minor chord. And on measure 3, instead of the D7, I played A minor. So what's that chord progression, those 3 chords, what is that called? Do you recall?
Walk down?
Yes, exactly. It's a walk down. C, B minor, A minor. Okay. On line 3, I did not play a B flat. I played an A note. And then there is an A note on the second beat. And then I played a B note after that. And then it goes to a G. And at the end of this, where the repeat marks are, this is where I'm going to change my setup or preset, if you will. So this is going to be my setup 2, number 2. And the only difference is now I've added duet harmony to it. Okay. On the second ending, line 4, again, I did not play a B flat. I played a B, as in boy. And the last 3 notes on the page there, the A, the F, and the D, I didn't play any of those notes. They didn't make any sense to me. So I just crossed them off.
Where is that A, F, and D? I don't see that.
No, it's A, F, and D.
I don't see that on mine.
Oh, well then you don't have to worry about it.
We have A, E, and D.
Yeah.
What did I say?
A,
Yeah.
F, D.
Oh, no, it's on an E. The bottom of my page, I guess the page moved, and so the staff is all swirled. So I was guessing at the notes there. Sorry about that.
So can you repeat what you did then on that second last line?
On the last line,
Mm-hmm.
I played a regular B as the first note,
Right.
and then the A, the E, and the D, I didn't play them.
Oh, at all. Okay.
I just did the fill. And now at the end of that line, we're going to the bridge. So that's where I'm going to change to my setup number 3 or preset number 3. And so the only step that it takes for you is after you have the sound put in, is that then you go quick memorize it. That's the only extra step. But once you've done that, you don't have to push the buttons anymore. It's all right there for you. So I really strongly recommend that you do that. And so now I'm playing the bridge, and my chords were cut off. So I'm going to ask you to verify for me. The first line, young and beautiful are the words, and the first chord is B flat, correct?
Right.
Yes.
And the second chord was a C.
Correct.
Yes.
Do
I
an F.
played an F chord instead. Measure 2, F chord. And measure 3 is E flat chord.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. On line 2, instead of the C chord, I played an F chord.
In which measure?
On line 2, measure 3, it's a C chord, and I played an F chord instead. Okay. And at the end of line 3, that's where we're returning to the beginning. And the only thing I did differently there on my setup number 4 is I transposed. Now the instrument's going into the key of F instead of E. So that's where I did the transpose. On the coda, the last 2 notes, instead of playing E, play an F note and play an F chord as well. And the last note is D as in dog, play a G as in George, and a G chord to end it. And then that's again the pattern of, you have so much freedom in your interpretation of music. Excuse me. And going up at the end of a song is much more final than going down in your melody. And so that's why I took it up to F and then took it up to G. Okay? Any questions? And I did the same thing at the end as I'm going to do in the beginning. I did a G chord for 8 beats and did the virtuoso, an F chord for 8 beats and did the virtuoso, and then I repeated that 3 times. Just be sure when you're ready to end, you end on a G chord. G is in George. And then I pressed ending number 1. Okay? Any questions? No? Okay. All right, let me get this camera so that you can see the keyboards a little bit there. There we go. Now, I'm changing my presets on my foot. So you will not see me touch buttons because I'm clicking my foot and it's advancing the preset each time I want it advanced. And I will mention when I'm changing again, just so you could have it marked in your music as well.
Joanie,
Yes.
what tempo are you playing?
Well, to start out, you have to be able to play whatever tempo you can play.
No, I asked what you're playing.
It comes on, I believe it even comes on at 1:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So in the intro, once the intro is finished playing, then I'm doing a G chord for 8 beats, 2 sets of 4, and an F chord for 8 beats, and then back to a G, and then I can start my song. Are you ready? All aboard? This is intro number 1, Love Keeps Us. Preset number 2, duet harmony. Okay, now I'm going to the bridge, so I'm going to preset number 3. Going back to the beginning now, so you're going to hear transpose, number 4. That's the ending. Virtuoso. G chord. 6, 7, 8. F chord. And finally on a G chord. Ending number 1. I did the fill before the ending. Okay, a couple things I didn't mention to you that I wished I had. So I'm out of order here, but all I used the rhythm presets that come on. Okay. So not my A1 was rhythm preset or style setup, if you will, number 7. That's the voice that came on. Number A2 for me, all I did was keep the same sound and just put on my duet harmony. Okay. At the bridge is my A3. I used rhythm preset or style setup number 9, which is the shearing sound that comes on with that. If you don't have that, because maybe you don't have Love Will Keep Us and you're improvising, then you want to have vibes and guitar is what's going to make that sound. So you can go and find your vibes in guitar, but be aware that you don't want to have sustain on. Make sure if you're creating it yourself, make sure you take the sustain off. If you have the rhythm style, then you're going to have those sounds anyway. It's just going to be number 9, and you're going to memorize it, and I memorized it into number 3. And in my A4, I memorized rhythm preset or style setup number 3, which was a jazz organ. That's all I did. Not complicated. And on the 3rd page, if you'll go to that, the line that is just above the coda, measure 2, the notes are D is in dog, G is in George, E, the 2 8th notes. I didn't play the E both times on that measure. I crossed out the E because that's not what they did. Okay? So I just crossed the notes out. That's the freedom of music. You can do it the way you want. So great.
Joanie, where is that E you crossed out, please?
On the last page, line 3, measure 2.
Okay, thank you.
And you'll notice it
they're
sequentially
all-
makes sense because if you look at the lyrics, there's only 2 words, I will. So
they're all quarter notes?
why no, the E's are 8th notes. They're grouped with GE.
But you're crossing them out,
I'm only crossing out the E.
right? So you end up with 4 quarter notes then, right?
That's
Okay,
correct.
right,
Very
okay.
good. Very good. Questions?
Tony,
Yes.
did you do a lot of improvising? Because I heard a lot of extra notes than what I see written. Maybe it's just me.
I
Especially on
didn't
the
do
first-
a lot of
on the first
improvising,
page.
but you know, if they gave me one, for instance, where did I do it? On the beginning of page 2, there's a B. Okay, but when you listen to the song, there's 2 B's. So I played a second one. So I didn't play a lot of extra notes at all that are not written as far as different notes, but there were times that I either changed the rhythm pattern or I played the note twice even though it was only written once. So we have love. Let's go back here. So I just echoed myself. D, D, C, D, A, B. Those are the notes I had already given you. So sometimes I shape the rhythm a little differently to fit how they would have sung it instead of how Leonard, very rigidly writes it. Quarter note, eighth note, whatever. You don't have to do that. You can take your liberties as long as you fit it in with the beats. That's the important thing. 4 beats is what we got. So you got to fit in the melody like that. This is not a hard melody to learn. The notes are very related to each other. They sort of all fit in a row, and so you can echo them, play them twice, whatever, as long as you're sticking within the beats. That's the most important thing. Okay, do you need to hear it again?
Yes, please.
Yes, you would? Okay, let's go back then. We will do that. So remember, the intro now is 4 beats of G, or 8 beats of G, 8 beats of F, 8 beats of G, 8 beats of F, and then I start, okay? Here we go. Now we start. Okay, preset number 2. Duet. Ending number 2. Okay, preset number 3 now, because I'm going to the bridge. GD, GD. Now you're going to hear transpose, number 3, 4. F chord, virtuoso, G chord, F chord, back to G, fill, okay. Any questions?
Joanie?
Okay, a couple things I want to mention. By the end of this week, I will be sending an email telling you what the next month's songs are, and what books they are in. If you're not receiving an email, that means that you are not in my personal database in the store. And so you have to tell me that so I can add you to the list, and then you will get the email. These do not come from corporate. They do not come from Arizona. The email address I'm sending them from is 5063@fletchermusic.com. So if you don't get an email that tells you what the songs are, you should be calling us at 813-633-8458 and letting me know, and then I can forward the email and get you onto the database. So that's a very important thing, because I've seen a lot of names on here today that I know I don't have your emails. So you're not knowing ahead of time what music, and I like to give you the month's worth so you can sort out, do you have the books that the music is in? If you don't, I also sent an email in the beginning, I guess maybe 2 months ago or so, of people who have volunteered in this group who have most songs, and you're able to email them and they will scan and send it to you. And they've been very, very diligent about that. And I appreciate that very much. And I'm sure so do you if you're needing the music and you don't have it. So that's
Phone number is that again?
Pardon?
What phone number is that again?
813-633-8458.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So look for that to come probably Friday. I'm going to try this week to actually send it out on Thursday, if I can get it done then. I'm just about finished now, so I'm hoping to send it Thursday. So that way, if you don't have an email Thursday, you can call me Friday. If I send it out Friday, then I'm not here Saturday and Sunday, so you have no way of contacting me till Monday. So I'm going to try to get it out a day earlier, provided that time is my friend and not my enemy. It's basically what it comes down to. Any other questions or comments?
Joanie,
Yes.
on page 1, line 3, second measure,
Mm-hmm.
did you play the notes as you told us they were? Because I have a hard time following what you're playing as to what I hear.
I played B and then a G and then another and back to A.
Okay.
Those were the notes I gave you as a change.
Right. That's not what I guess I hear more notes than what I see.
Could be.
I find
the other
this
thing
song
I
very
did in
hard to
this
follow.
song, I noticed myself after you brought that up. The one thing I did notice is that I do tend to play grace notes, slip off the black key and onto the white. And so that might have been part of what you were also hearing,
Okay.
which is very good. Good ear. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments about the styling class itself, it's really great to get that feedback. And the person you would want to give that feedback to is J. Riley, Riley, at FletcherMusic.com. Those any feedback you have, it's very good for him to hear it from you. Okay? Any other questions? Well, I have a almost finished lineup for next month, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm just finishing that up this week. So thank you for being with us. It was lovely to see your faces. A lot of people had their video on, which was great. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. If you are in town here, we have 2 classes tomorrow. I just sent an email this morning. We have the Lowry Black Songbook, which is a beginner to intermediate kind of level. That's at 11 o'clock. And we have a 1 o'clock Tricks of the Trade tomorrow. That is Wednesday. Okay. And then Thursday at 11:30, we have Easy Play Chords, Muscle Memory, which just deals with making your left hand independent. And that's at 11:30 on Thursday. If you have any questions, give us a call, and I'd be happy to help you. All right? Have a wonderful, musical, blessed day.
Thank you, you too,
Yeah.
Jo.
Thank you.
you.